welcome. I am super excited to be with you this evening, and I have a very special guest with me, Mr. Austin Podowski with Synergy Met Sales. I'm going to introduce him here in just a minute, but we are here together tonight with you so we can go over how to create an effective menu and entice consumers to come and see you so they can purchase and repurchase your treatments and your products. So are you ready? We have people, Austin, with us from all over the world.
I am super excited to be with you this evening, and I have a very special guest with me, Mr. Austin.
We have a little echo going on. Don't you love technology? We just keep going. So I just want to say a special welcome to everyone, and I want you to turn off all distractions. Stay with us, grab a pen and a paper, because we are going to go over very effective content for you to improve your menu and generate more revenue. So welcome. It's so great to have you. And my guest today, as I mentioned, is Austin. He is the founder of Synergy Met Sales. It's a great company that focuses on providing you with equipment and all types of tools to help you perform these great treatments that you should have on your menu. So welcome, Austin. It's great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, Dori. It's always a pleasure to join you on a cast, a webinar, etc. Interface with your clientele. Some of our favorite customers, our inspiration management customers, and we love working with you. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And it's the same actually for us, Austin. So many of our clients actually reach out to you to get great equipment and great value for what it is that they want to offer. So it's always wonderful to partner up with businesses. As a matter of fact, that's going to be one of my message to all of you, to start partnering up like this with other businesses to help you grow your business. So tonight we have a very important topic to discuss, one that a lot of people sometimes don't really pay that much attention to. And this is such a valuable topic for you to truly offer great treatments and products to your clients. So you really need to be on the end of what's going on with the latest trends and popular treatments so you can kill the competition and definitely grow your business. So we're going to go over 4 things this evening. Number 1 is I'm going to touch a little bit on differentiation and how important that is when you're developing your menu. The second thing is we're going to talk about trends and popular treatment and equipment that you need, and Austin is going to add great value to that segment. Then I'm going to share with you quick steps to develop a very effective menu to where it's going to position you as the professional that you are, so people can look at your menu and say, wow, I want to go there. And then we're going to wrap up with what you do with the menu after you create it and how important it is to train the team on all aspects of what you're going to offer in your menu. So are you ready?
Yes.
Give me thumbs up. We have people here with us. So we have a poll that we want you to take. It should be on Zoom right now. However, we are also on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're live everywhere tonight, including Zoom. So the poll is actually on Zoom. So if you would be so kind to just tell us a little bit more about yourself. And if you have a question as we go along, make sure you put it in the chat box so we can answer all your questions. We're good? We're ready, team? All right. So let's start with the first thing, and the most important thing is, why should you focus on a menu? See, to me, the menu, when somebody grabs it and looks at it, one of the most important things they should be thinking is that, yes, you are the only choice for me. I want you to write that down. You want to be the only choice. Like there's nobody else that can touch you. So that's my first message to you, and why you should focus really on the menu and the importance of having a great menu. So let me dive in right away, Austin, into differentiation. Now, you're a business owner. I'm a business owner. We have so many business owners with us. And as we know, one of the most important things is differentiation. Like, why should someone choose you over someone else? As you know, the industry is growing like crazy. There's a medical spa, wellness center, a day spa, or all kinds of businesses on almost every corner right now. And we are very lucky to be in this industry. We are really blessed. So the problem though that we see is that there are people that are selling, let's say, Botox at $8.99 a unit, and then you have people who are selling it at $16 a unit. So this is the same product, same thing. But how do you differentiate? How can we get someone to go and invest $16 a unit instead of $8.99 a unit? Who decides that? The thing is, you decide it. And you know what? Differentiation applies to any business you are in, whether it's a medical spa, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a clothing store. There are expensive places and there are inexpensive places. So your decision when you're creating your menu is, who do you want to target? Do you want to be the Walmart of medical spas, or do you want to be the Tiffany's of medical spas? Just like it got me thinking about restaurants. You can go and order a steak from Longhorn and pay $20 a steak, or you can go to Ruth Chris and pay $80 a steak. It's a steak. How do they charge more? I'll tell you why they charge more. They charge more because of the experience, the quality, the expertise of the person that's making that treatment or cooking that steak for you. And that's what differentiates them between the two. So to me, differentiation is where it all starts. So you want to differentiate your menu with your team's skills, your expertise, the protocols that you have for the treatment, the results, the experience. Those are all very important things to get you to charge more. And friends, if you are going to go to work and put in the hours, would you rather make $8.99, which you're not making any money, by the way, if you do that, or would you rather charge $16 and make money? That's your decision. That's the first step that you need to decide on when creating a menu. What do you think, Austin? Does that make sense?
You know, it makes a lot of sense, Dori. And I think differentiation alongside value and the added of the three approaches to value and how to price yourself out in the market competitively is something that's really important for any business owner, like you said, in any industry. And in aesthetics, as you had mentioned, in the robust growth that we've seen and the CAGR that we have in this industry, and the new entry to the space from MedSpa entrepreneurs to primary care physicians to plastics opening med spas, etc. You really do need to set yourself apart and be different. And it's a performance sport. I mean, aesthetics is a sport. And aesthetic device ownership is a sport. And running med spa is a sport. And you need to think about that way and tap into resources like Dori, who will coach you through that process and show you how to get to an elite pricing tier, etc. How to develop a better menu of service or outreach to your customers. And you know, if you're not a plastic surgeon or an injector only focused business, you definitely have to be refining your skill, refining your menu, refining your outreach to your customer base, and killing the competition, as Dori said, day in and day out. And the best way that you can do that is to build value in your service, make your menu of service unique to your branding and offering, not necessarily just to the manufacturer's branding and the homage they have with the consumer. And in addition to, you need to make sure that you're resourceful and you're interfacing with other professionals in the space to learn their tips, tools, and tricks and how they become successful. And that's why things like the Millionaire Circle are so important, because it's not just the coaching you get from somebody like Dori, who's got vast experience and has taken revenues from hundreds of thousands to millions. It's that you get to interface with people that did that work. And so, becoming resourceful in this space, whether it's looking out to other suppliers to lower your cost of goods so you boost your margin, or interfacing with a coach like Dori, you have to be on it at all times. You have to be constantly training. And I think, it all does really come down to the menu and how you're marketing that menu. So I don't think you could have said it better.
Thank you.
And it absolutely makes sense. And the two business models of scalability and volume versus high-end boutique and high margin, there's nothing wrong with either. But you do need to make that business decision. And once you do, there's different ways to scale and be successful in those prospective models.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the whole thing, is deciding on who your target market is and then create that experience based on who you're trying to reach. So let's talk a little bit about the different popular treatments, Austin, popular equipment that people are really seeking out right now. You talk to people all the time, they reach out to you with different things they want to include in their menu. Now, of course, I use just a simple example with Botox, but that example really can go through your entire menu. Now, of course, a lot of people tell me, oh, well, injectables brings the people in. That's why I'm cheap on it. Well, that's just the wrong angle. I don't believe in that. We believe in having a membership model that allows you to discount if you want a discount, but the rest of the time you should be at your highest price. So of course, injectables are very popular in the medical spa industry. We are seeing a huge increase in PRP, micro needling, microblading. Sexual health is becoming one of probably the most important treatments. Of course, you have body tightening, body sculpting, you name it, every kind of body treatment that's possible. Everybody's really focused on the body and the face. So I'm sure you have a lot to add to that, Austin, as far as what people are asking for as far as equipment to include in their menu. You want to share some of the most popular treatments and equipment?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. And I think just thinking back to your earlier comment about memberships and not necessarily offering product at cost where you're not making money,
Yeah.
you're losing money. I think that's part of business, right? And it's part of the MedSpa business. And you can do it two ways. You can advertise it at that low cost per vial and know that you're not making any money, but you're getting the foot traffic. Or you can tie it into a membership where you still are absorbing some of that loss, but you know you're bolting on other therapies to increase the profitability and the longevity of the lifetime value of that patient to your business.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. And yeah, whether it's injectables or threading or you're moving into microblading or any of the health and wellness PRP capabilities that we have out there today. And you kind of move into more of some of those holistic therapies, I think that's a great place to be able to offer to a wider base or wider audience of patient and encompass more eyes and get more feet in the door. But I think as you compound against those gateway, right? That's how I like to refer to them as. Those are gateway. Whether it's cool sculpting, which there's 2,000 cool sculpting devices in the U.S., right? Or it is somebody that is offering Botox. That's gateway. That just it's not that it's a lost winner. It's not where you're going to make your money. It is where you're going to acquire that new patient. And what you do next with your menu and how you compound the protocol is how you determine how long you keep that patient and how much money you can make with that patient. So speaking on technology, yeah, absolutely. Sexual wellness is a category that I remember, 5 years ago when we first started coming out with radio frequency, used for vaginal tightening, etc. It was, something that was maybe taken with an abrasive, like, why are we going there from the OB community, right? And so there was a little bit of pushback there. But since the FDA has come in, some of those devices have been regulated, now you're seeing this influx and this refinement of that technology to cater in so many more ways. I was in front of a production unit from a very large publicly traded company earlier this week. And they've got a new internal, basically, muscle stim device for Kegels, for tightening, which is like an amazing and incredible thought, idea, innovation, and protocol to go alongside things like the Emsella chair, etc., for incontinence. And so, this is a broad category, a broad target, with a very nice demograph and pool of patients. And it's an important, function of the confidence and the beauty aspect of what makes up aesthetics.
Right.
And so you definitely need to be thinking about sexual wellness and building that into your menu when you have a more mature patient base and audience, and both for men and women. And so there's things that you could acquire to offer ED. There's things that you could acquire to offer treatment against urinary incontinence, etc. And a lot of those are class 1, class 2 devices that don't require you to be a physician or a nurse practitioner to perform these treatments. So they're great technologies to add to your business and to set you apart from the run-of-the-mill franchise med spa that is just jamming Botox down everybody's throat. Okay. Outside of that, obviously body contouring, as you mentioned, is extremely hot in space right now. It has just grown and grown and grown over the years. And body contouring, is really a three-legged stool approach. That's what you need to be taking when you're going in for efficacy in body contouring that's non-invasive. So you need to be having a protocol that offers radio frequency in a double treatment approach, and then moving into muscle stimulation. So what I mean by that is you don't just need one radio frequency skin tightening or fat reduction treatment. You need two, or you need to combo that with cryolipolysis and do a fire and ice therapy and finish it off with muscle stim. And that's how you're going to get a result. And that also gives you the ability to have some technical specifications that cater to larger and smaller BMI patients. If a patient is overweight for their demographic, you may not always be able to get them a flat stomach or the appearance of abs or the complete reduction of cellulite. And so by having combination protocol, you could achieve a high result and help the transformation, help kickstart the transformation for that patient better. And that's where it also ties back into health and wellness. There's not a device that you can buy that's going to make anybody perfectly skinny, muscular, or sexy. Okay, they have to put in the work. They have to have the discipline post treatment at home to keep the result in effect and to keep coming back. Right. And that's why, again, memberships are so important. If you're not offering memberships today, please reach out to Dori to find out more about encompassing memberships into your business. You probably hear a lot of people in this space talk about these memberships, and you probably think you have a base knowledge or understanding of how they work. But really, the way that you devise that, the financial metrics around it, the commitment level that you get from that patient, that guarantee that they have that obligation. Like me, I work out at a gym. I pay for a very high dollar gym. If I don't go to the gym, I feel like I'm going to see money, so I have that obligation to go. Right? So memberships can be a very powerful thing, and it's a great way to kind of transverse your patient population through base level therapies, gateway therapies, into these more advanced and specialty protocols. So very important to have body contouring right now, and then of course anything in the face, photo rejuvenation, resurfacing, acne treatments. Those are all core. I mean, those are as core as hair removal. And hair removal is one of those things. It's got to be performed at high volume. But I've seen a huge reinsurgence for hair removal, and that's namely because you've got a new patient demo moving in. You've got the younger generations moving in. You've got more males moving in. And if I don't have to shave my beard line before I come onto a webinar, I mean, that's a convenience factor. That's something that I'm probably most likely interested in. And so you really need to think full spectrum. But the advice I do want to give you, because this would take an 8-hour webinar for me to cover all of the devices, all the manufacturers in the space, I would tell you, don't be overwhelmed. Don't overinvest. Take your time, build and compound on it. Every device or technology that you add to your business, you need to be thinking about how to compound against that in the future and add on to that in the future with other treatments, other protocol, so that you don't have this forever merry-go-round of constantly evolving technology. Naturally, that will happen in your business with innovation and the advancement of technology, but make sure whatever you do invest in, you are investing into the long term, because it will be built into your marketing. It will be baked into your brochures, your pop-up banners, your commercials, your social media campaigns, etc. So make sure that you really do spend some time to think from the foundational level all the way to the more advanced protocols when you're building out these menus. And if you'd like to speak further on any one of these topics, whether it be a low laser light therapy device all the way up to a more advanced, minimally invasive radio frequency or plasma technology, we'd be happy to consult you. I definitely think working with somebody like Dori, to build out a membership and think about this as you build the menu and acquire technology is super important. So quick question for you, Dori. What's the number one or most popular, menu model that you're seeing, or membership model that you're seeing rather, for your clients?
Well, you hit on it. You mentioned combination therapy, and I think that's the best way to really feature your differentiation between the competition, because your competition is not doing combination therapies, and that's where you're going to get your best results. You're going to have great satisfaction, better retention, And when you combine it with a membership enrollment, the people don't feel that, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna make this work. Where when you plan the membership, they're committing to a certain amount a month, and you can actually create an entire plan for them that will include all kinds of combination therapies to give them the best results possible. So we teach in our membership model. I mean, we have so many members that are just killing it with members. We have members that have 500, 600 members paying them $500 a month every month. So that will allow you, that will allow you to do those combinations and truly give them the results that they need. And if you're really not doing that, you're totally missing the whole point of why you really are in business and what's the best way to really generate revenue in business. But there are so many missed opportunities too that we see often, Austin, with the menu. And we have a lot of new market really emerging in our industry. And that's like the ethnic skin, to cater to them. Male, we are totally missing out on that. I think only 20% of the populations that visit medical spas or spas are men right now. We really need to focus on increasing that. And the reason for that, again, when you look at menus, you can tell they're more geared for women. And now my design team and people that we help, we always want to be able to feature different ethnic group. We want to feature men, we want to feature women, we want to feature teenagers for acne. So when your menu is developed to expand your target market, now you're really talking to every single member of the family rather than just focusing. Right now we mainly focus on people, mainly women, and we need to really expand that. And that's really what I want you to take away from this tonight, is to be able to expand your horizon and start offering different treatments for different parts of the families. Because once you get that one client, you have to remember they probably have a husband, they probably have kids, and right now you're leaving all that money on the table because you're not speaking their language, you're not speaking directly to them. And that's really what we need to do. So I hope that you will start focusing a little bit more on that. Let's talk a little bit about the most popular treatments, Austin. And you and I are both huge on doing a proper consultation and truly getting away from this whole a la carte mentality where somebody comes in, gets one treatment and leaves. We want them to stay with us for months and years. And that we do during the consultation process. I'm a big fan of your consultation or analysis equipment for both face and body. We recommend all of our clients to go see you because to me, that's the most important part of the business. You got to have that consultation suite within your business, and you got to have it equipped with the right tools to help you analyze, discover all the problems, and then offer solutions. So you want to tell people about some of the tools as far as analysis tools to really help them sell these big customized programs?
Yeah, absolutely, Dori. So I think one thing that's most important about aesthetic imaging and documenting your before and afters is that if you are not doing a good job of documenting before and afters and building out your portfolio, you're leaving 30% of your revenue on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I've said that a dozen and a half times, and I'll say it 100,000 more times because it's so important and crucial. That is your work. That is your portfolio. Mm-hmm. And you need to be able to show off your performance in that way and show the results that you've been able to obtain for your patient base. And so, whether you just have a tablet today and a low-cost software to achieve before and afters, I mean, that's a great place to start, and it's highly recommended. But if you really want to see a true response and experience from your patients in the consultation and through the treatment process, you need to be looking at adding hardware that offers and caters to advanced ultraviolet lighting conditions, etc., and algorithms that pinpoint the most minute details that are naked to the human eye. And so that's why we like to see accounts, customers, with facial imaging stations that offer UV and software that runs and scans these photos for the various indications of porphyrin, sebum, fine lines, wrinkle count, etc. And what's really cool about a lot of the tech that's out there today is that you can upload your own menu into that tech, okay? And you can set it to auto-populate or auto-suggest different treatments or recommendations based on the indication, skin score, etc. And I think that's really important as your business scales and grows, and you're not in every consult, or maybe you're not in every consult today either way. This is a good way to standardize the menu of service and make sure that the products that you want pushed, the promos that you want pushed, the products that you have the better margins on are being recommended to your patient base, and that across the board, across your company, across your staff, everybody's adopted the same skin philosophy and is iterating that to the patient base.
Yeah.
The other thing that's important about it is the patient gets to see that. They get to have that visual experience with you. So that validation factor beyond your professional candor and experience and that your beautiful office and that you've got devices there, they're able to see what's truly wrong with them in a way that they haven't seen it before. When I say wrong, there's no shame and wanting to have better skin confidence and better confidence in general.
For sure.
And so it's not bruising the ego, it's not tearing somebody down, it's just saying, hey, this is an indication and we have a solve, we have a solution for this. It also helps you build a higher basically billable on that initial consult where you can basically throw the kitchen sink at them and it gives them a big number to digest that you can work down from. And traditionally, if you think about the consult, not just from the medical records filing and indication standpoint, if you think about it as a point of sale, a function of sale, where you're making your sales and building that initial rapport, the higher you can raise that billable and the stat on hitting them with a higher number and then closing them at a bigger number than you initially would have is absolutely there. You can see revenues increase by 27% just by using photos. So very, very important to add tools like this. Body contouring.
Can we stop here for a minute, Austin? I would love to know how many people have analysis equipment. Sarah, if you want to ask that question on Zoom. And if you are with us on Instagram and Facebook Live, I would love to know if you already have consultation or imaging or analysis equipment. I would love to know.
And actually use it though.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you don't use it, you need to get you a copy of the Success with Guest Consultation, because in this program, we teach you exactly how to do a proper consultation and how to generate thousands of dollars instead of hundreds of dollars during a consultation.
I would bet that it's sales geared, right?
Oh, absolutely. Or we like to say recommendation geared.
Okay. Well, okay. So the ones that are sensitive.
But you know how sensitive they are to the word sales.
Yeah. You didn't go into business to make money.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be.
That's great. I think if you have a limited understanding, if you own this technology already, and you're not using it, get Dori's informational on this. The guest consultation training manual. Great read, great video content, great way to rethink your consultation and rethink implementing that imaging device you may already own, or the justification for why you need to go spend thousands of dollars on this hardware technology that ultimately it will be the best ROI you ever see on any equipment you ever buy.
Absolutely, by far. That's your sales center, actually. That's really where all the magic happens, is in that suite.
Last point, and I'll digress. So going back to membership, imagery is a form of retention. You sign somebody up for a membership package, they get 2-3 sessions in, they're not seeing a result because it may be making the human eye or the investment of results in aesthetics do take time, especially when we're working with heavy UV damage or pigmented lesions or thick coarse hair, etc. Or very deep fine lines, lack of collagen production, laxity in the skin, etc. It just takes time to get to that end result, to get that efficacy. And when you have imagery that can show you the statistics, you can validate that a result is happening. And the classic thing is whether it's you're doing instead of rhinoplasty, you're using Botox in the nose to maybe accentuate the dorsal hump, etc. You can inject somebody and hand them a mirror, and they won't even see the difference. They may not even notice. And so imagery is super powerful to remind the mind, because it has that photograph.
For sure.
That change is happening, and it keeps you coming back and feeling more comfortable.
How many people have said? What do we have? Any people saying? Did you test? Did you tell them? Oh, well, you guys need to pay attention. Come on.
That means they don't have one, or
That
too
means they don't
embarrassed to
have
say
one.
it.
You better get together, honey.
Oh,
Anyway,
Medicine
all right,
has
we
one.
need to keep moving. We're already half hour in. So let's talk a little bit about microneedling and hydrofacial, because I think those are two very, very important treatments that they are just killing it. If you have a hydrofacial machine, you should be averaging $285 or more a facial, first of all. You should not be doing anything less than that. And then, of course, when you combine microneedling with PRP, now you're really making money with microneedling. And those are two, I think, the twins, I call them. And they're very important tools to have, again, as featured in your menu. I think that is so important. Now, there are some people that are trying to do a hydrofacial. You know, there are some machines that are trying to kind of copy or do some things for a hydrofacial. So whether you get a hydrofacial or something similar to it, it doesn't matter, but you need that kind of facial. And then, of course, microneedling, without hands down, is so popular right now.
Absolutely. I think, starting out with the microneedling, you definitely want to get into a good pen and have that product. That's something that's turnkey. That's something that is a treatment that can be performed 10, 20, 30 times a day, and has a pretty decent margin on it. And I think after you've established the patient base there, and that's more of a maintenance package that you're performing, because it's something that you can do literally every few weeks, you compound that with something like hydrofacial or a dermal infusion product, and you're going to get great results, instant results, moisture, decreased redness,
Ask questions,
etc., and collagen stimulation. So those are kind of routine maintenance services that need to be offered year round and be conducted year round, and they're perfect for that base level gateway into the membership. In addition to really cool things are happening around some of this technology, where in the past few years, it's not just microneedling. Now there's fractional microneedling and nano-fractional microneedling, where we're going at deeper depths with higher RF energy, and we're really stimulating and boosting that result and that skin tightening, and that can be transcended into the body, abdomen, etc. And with hydrofacial or infusion products, we're now treating things like sweat glands. We're treating hair restoration, etc. So there's a lot of new products and protocol that are coming to market based around these therapies, that are something that can differentiate what you're doing in your menu. Being able to offer treatment for hyperhidrosis, for a woman's husband who maybe sweats a little too much, that's a great treatment. And it's not an aggressive treatment, it's not a very expensive treatment, and you're gonna get satisfaction justification out of doing so. So I think it's really important to have those base level technologies, start with the pen, move into fractional microneedling, definitely make sure that you have an infusion product.
And then moving to True Sculpt, then you can go into some body treatments.
It's always want to start in the face and then work into the body. And as I mentioned earlier, when we're doing body contouring, it is a three-legged stool approach. You want to have RF and muscle stem, or RF cryo and muscle stem. And the other thing that's great about muscle stem is the wide base. I mean, then you're attacking not just people who want to address wrinkles, laxity, pigmented lesions, etc., or people that have excess fat. You're able to target fitness buffs, people that want that extra edge. They want to look just a little bit better, in the sweater at Thanksgiving, a little bit more pomp, or they want to look a little bit more defined in the swimsuit on the cruise, etc. And so it's nice to, and I've got several clients, triathletes, who are buying this muscle stem technology. They're in great shape, but they're so addicted and committed to that result that they'll do anything to get the edge, whether it's eat the same thing for 45 days in a row and choke it down, or go get a treatment like this done to give them the edge that they want and get the result that they're after, to really refine that contour. So definitely starting in the face is important, and then moving into the body. And I'll stop there, but I can go for days in days about, you know, the different protocols and options out there.
We believe you.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure.
You sound like a doctor.
A doctor?
We need to
No.
start calling you Dr. Austin.
Hey, I have a lab coat. Okay?
That's good.
I have a lab coat.
I like your orange flower, by the way. Is that for inspiration management specific?
That's for inspiration and all your clients out
Oh,
there.
isn't that
And I'm
nice?
for all of you.
I like it. Thank you. All right. Well, I have a picture here on the slide of the copy system, which is the membership program that we offer. So if you don't have a membership program now, we talked about that earlier, you should definitely try to go and get one. We already talked about laser hair removal and body contouring. So those are also two pieces of equipment that you can have to offer on your menu. So we talked about a lot of different things that you can include in here. Of course, there are also a lot of other options, but at least we wanted to hone in on some of the most popular and the trendiest treatments that are going on right now. So let's move on into the steps to developing the effective menu that you need so you are enticing the clients. The number one thing you should start with to focus on is the copywriting, the actual content of how you write within your brochure. And I have to say, Austin, that's probably one of the biggest problems most people have, is actually describing the treatments in a way that is enticing for people to come and experiencing them. And that is one thing I beg you to write and write well, read and read over and over, and focus on the benefits of the treatments rather than the features. Like Austin was just talking about the equipment now. But that's not really what you should be talking about in your menu. What you should be talking about in your menu are the results that equipment actually can provide. Because remember, we're not selling equipment. We're selling the end result. And I find that one of the biggest mistakes people make all the time when we read content, whether it's on the website or whether it's in your menu. So make sure you have good copy within your menu. And then, go ahead.
That's the biggest flaw I see. I see it all the time. For website SEO, for printed menus, etc. It's a focus on a brand that this consumer's never heard of. Right?
Exactly.
There's of the 30 top tier manufacturers in the space and the 25 devices they each have in their portfolio, you always see MedSpas advertise the treatment specifically or the name of the device, the technology specifically.
I can't stand that.
Well,
they don't need your help. They don't need your help.
Well, out of all those manufacturers and all those devices, only 2 have an actual like direct to end consumer brand.
Yeah, they have no idea what you're talking about.
Hydrofacial Cool Sculpting. Hydrofacials in Sephora, they've done a lot to advertise.
And Botox, because they advertise.
Well, I'm speaking more device.
Yes,
right?
okay.
And from a device perspective, those are the only 2 that have any kind of brand recognition with the consumer. So don't brand that service to that manufacturer like everybody in a 10-mile, 20-mile radius is. Brand it to your unique menu. If your MedSpa is the Inspiration MedSpa, you want to be selling the Inspiration facial or the Inspiration, infusion, package, etc.
For sure.
Brand it to you and focus on that copy. And in today's world and age, you can hire somebody to write copy for you.
That's right. The other thing I want to help you figure out here is the pricing. Now, I don't recommend, if you're going to do a booklet like this, I don't recommend putting pricing in your menu. You can always do a price insert, because if you change your pricing, then you don't throw away all these menus. But the most important thing really is not to even talk about price, because the price to me really is irrelevant. It's what I would gain that you should focus on. Now, if you want to do pricing on the website or whatever, that's fine. But in your menu, you should just keep it about the experience that they would have. And then the other thing I find with pricing often is that they're not priced properly because they don't take this formula into effect. When you're pricing your treatments, there are 4 financial ratios that you really need to pay attention to. And that is your product cost, especially if you have consumables to all these equipments, right? You need to keep that in mind. You want to also take your operating costs into consideration, your compensation for the team, and then how much profit you're going to end up making. So those are very, very important financial ratios that you need to calculate. You can't just look at the competition and say, oh, they're charging this, that's what I'm gonna charge. That's wrong. That's not a formula for success. As a matter of fact, that's a formula for a disaster. And I can't tell you how many people actually make that mistake. So I just want to use a quick little example. This is my superstar, Dr. Green, and he is in Virginia. And when we first met Dr. Green, Austin, he was still practicing medicine. He was opening up a medical spa. He had actually been open for about a year, not making any money, not paying himself. And now, 2 years later, he is already booked. He left his medical practice. He's on track to do $5 million this year. They're already booked all the way up to February in treatments. It is just amazing. It just shows you when you focus and when you have a vision of what you're trying to do and apply the effort and do things the right way, anything is possible. Anything. And if he can do it, so can you. And that's really what I want you to be careful about, is not to play the price war games and try to be the cheapest game in town. What you should do instead is elevate your experience, charge more, that way you can make more, and you will be the top of the town instead of being, oh, it's so cheap, go there. That's not really, I think, what you would want. So those are the things that we really should focus on as far as what we're talking about here with treatments. Now, I get this question all the time, Austin, because as you know, we refer you to a lot of our clients, especially if they're brand new, they don't want to spend $150,000 on a piece of equipment. So we refer them to you. But then I get this question all the time. Is it better to buy a brand new piece of equipment, or should I purchase a pre-owned piece of equipment? Tell us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think, there's a scenario that's unique to everybody's, business model, business decision, the demographic, the area that they're in, the market that they're in, and what they want to offer and how much purview they want to have into those treatment offerings, the aptitude of their staff, etc. Is the device a consumable-driven device? Something that is class 3, class 4 that requires specific regulations. So it really depends on your unique spec as to what the goal is, what the menu looks like, or the menu that you want to create. I think that purchasing pre-owned, you can save a significant amount of money. I mean, average cost to get into this business with a diverse menu of service and multiple applications devices is $250,000 and up. Certain devices cost $300,000 alone. Multimodality platforms, some of the muscle stim technology is that expensive. And so pre-owned can be a good way for you to offer some of these advanced therapies or top and trending therapies with a faster ROI, a quicker return on that investment. And it also gives you the ability to be price competitive and offer things like not necessarily a price discount on the service itself, but offering giveaways and freebies and try before you buys to your customer base to get them enticed and to get them to see that initial result and keep them coming back and sign that membership with you. So I would definitely encourage anybody to shop pre-owned, we would love to consult you. We have an unbiased approach. I don't, I may have shares in some of these companies, but I'm not on the board. I'm not on the payroll, and I can talk openly and freely about any one of these companies and how they stack in a competitive nature to each other, technically, in efficacy, in consumable model, cost model, price of ownership, service, etc. So take your time, do your diligence, do your research, call a pre-owned dealer, call Synergy Med Sales, let us consult you, call the manufacturer's rep, get a demo, push for a demo, and know that if you do decide ultimately that buying new is better for you, or you have the budget, etc., don't be afraid to negotiate. It is 100% always a negotiation. Classic story is that there is no uniform pricing in this space. A rep that works for a company like Qterra, somebody in Florida could get quoted, $89,000 for a product. Somebody in California could get quoted $169,000 for that same product. And oftentimes, a rep can walk in, and after about 6 hours of back and forth and demo and negotiation, a rep can walk out starting at 169 and closing the deal, at that 89, with a second year warranty and a boatload of free consumables. So, it really depends on what market you're in, who your rep is, what the incentives are, in that quarter for that company, etc. Sometimes you're not going to be able to grind them. Sometimes you are, but don't be afraid to ask.
Yep.
Do your diligence first. I mean, that's the most important thing.
I think that's great advice. And what I like about what you guys do is that you're not just representing one brand. You actually have every brand.
Well, absolutely. And what, by the way, stat-wise and per the MedSpa budget that you offer, which is a module that Dori has, definitely check it out if you haven't. What do you see average barrier of entry, equipment-wise, through your clients?
Well, it depends on the size of the business they're opening. If it's just smaller place, I mean, it could be 300,000 in equipment. If it's a big place, we're talking $1 million or more sometimes. So it really depends on what kind of financial situation they're in, and it varies really so widely. But the thing to keep in mind, it's not just the price. Just like we were talking about me buying a yacht a little bit earlier. It's not just buying the yacht, it's maintaining the yacht and putting fuel in the yacht and paying for it. And it's the same thing with equipment. When you're buying a laser, you have to see what is the maintenance on it, what are the consumables, what's the return on the investment on that. And that's, I think, where a lot of people, they get caught up in the sexy part of the treatment, and they don't really pay attention to the nitty-gritty financial details that they really need to pay attention to. And that's where people like you and me come into the picture to show them the true financial commitment that they're making.
And you've got to work with somebody like Dori to actuate and project and create those financial projections. Don't take...
Yeah, and my team, by the way, it's not just me anymore, because I'm trying to slip away from doing a lot of work. I have to be on my yacht, Austin. I'm going on my yacht.
Ladies and gentlemen, come on, we're all going to Daytona. I think it's important to know that if you see a publication on a website like RealSelf, or when you're doing your market comp, you go to your competitor's office, like Dori mentioned, to see what their pricing menu is. That puts some spreadsheet in front of you that says you're going to make X amount of return in X amount of time. Do your own math.
Absolutely.
Do your own math and work with a coach who's seen this equipment installed in 100 different markets with 100 different marketing approaches, so that you can see what the numbers really look like, so you know what that return looks like, you know what your actual true hard costs are, because nowadays you're buying a box for 6 figures and you're still paying them a chunk of every procedure you perform.
For sure.
I mean, keep that in mind.
Let me go over the menu structure, because we're running out of time here a little bit. So I just want to give you the most important steps to actually create a menu. And these are steps that we follow and we teach. And you will find this actually all in super detailed in this brand new program that we just launched. And it's called Developing a Unique and Enticing Menu. And what you want to do is you always want to start. This is a menu that we did for Dr. Lehman.
Those are beautiful. Is that a new service that you're offering now?
Menu. We do for members and proposals. So if somebody has a proposal with us where they're just starting out, we do their branding, we do their logo, their menu. But if they're not, we don't do it for just everybody. We do it for only select people. But at least I wanted to share how they should structure the menu, which most people structure it wrong. And, I've traveled the world, we have boxes and boxes of menu, and you can look at menu after another, and they're all done the wrong way. Well, 90% of them are. So I just want to share with you the proper way to do it. So you should always start with the welcome, telling them a little bit about your place and who you are. There's nothing better than knowing exactly. People love to do business with people. They're not doing business with the business. So you need to tell them a little bit about yourself. So always start with the welcome. Then what you want to do is have an invitation for a consultation. So towards the end of your welcome, you always want to invite them for a consultation. And that's a big missed opportunities that most places do not have it in their menu. And you've got to do that. So you have to sell them on the consultation. Then your menu should really be organized. You have to have nice spreads by category. So you have to have your face category, your body category, different types of treatments. Again, focusing on the benefits and not so much the features of that equipment that you're trying to do the treatment with.
Right.
Then, yes. And then the other thing you want to do is mention your VIP program, which is your membership or your loyalty program. That should also be in the menu. So you're showing them the whole picture. Now, you don't have to go into in depth of the membership because you should really have a separate membership brochure, but at least mention that you have it. Then the other thing that I see missing all the time is that there's no offer on the menu. Most likely the back cover is empty in most cases. Instead, what we do and what we teach you to do is to have a first visit offer where they can go on a web page, be able to opt in and claim a gift card that they can use for their first visit. So what you just did is you took a menu and turned it into a marketing tool that's going to attract people to opt in to your list and be able to follow up with them, build a relationship, and get them to come into your facility. So those are the steps that you need to go through when you're creating a menu. And if you miss them, then you're really not capturing all the important things that a menu can do for your business. So I know I went through it very fast, but on this program, it's an hour and a half of me going in depth on how to really create an effective menu. So I would highly recommend that you do that. And then of course you want your contact information and all that, the website and all that.
I love that from the standpoint of lead gen. I think that's so important.
Yeah, thank you.
QR code at the back, it goes
Yes.
to the landing page,
Yep.
the web survey, and that gives you the opportunity to ask what services are you interested in?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are your trouble areas, and have it reiterated back into a sales management tool for that follow up to engage them on drip campaigns, include
Mhm.
that digital funnel. Super important right now,
Yes.
especially in this
Very
day.
good. And then the last part here we want to talk about is menu distribution and team training. And that's again where most people drop the ball. They do the menu and then it just sits on the counter by the front desk. Well, that's just not good enough for me. And again, on this program, I teach you all sorts of ways to have your menu distributed all over the place. So again, you can reach out to different people. You can build all kinds of business to business relationships and be able to promote your business. And I mean, it could be if you're a medical spa, you can go to high-end salons, high-end day spas, fitness centers, you name it, doctors' offices. There are so many opportunities. I'm not going to have time to go into it right now, but I do want to mention one thing, which is the most important. It goes back to how I started this with Austin, and that's differentiation. And how you're going to differentiate the most is through your team skills. And a lot of times people now focus some on clinical training, hardly never on business training. And if you truly want to have a successful business, you have to focus on both. You have to teach them the skills on how to do an effective training, how to do an effective treatment with a twist so it differentiates you from the competition. And then you have to be focused on revenue generation so you can have a healthy business. And when you focus on both, you can crush the competition. You will be, what did I tell you in the beginning? You will be the only choice. And that is what we want. We want to be the only choice for consumers to choose you. And those are the things that you can do, my friends, through your menu. Isn't that amazing? That one little menu.
Those are templates ready to go.
I
right?
know.
I want to open a med spa. I don't have to think about
Mhm.
how I'm going to run the finance and how I'm going to actuate my cost or how I'm going to focus on sales for my staff.
Mhm.
It's all here on the material.
Exactly.
And getting some one-on-one sessions. So
Yeah.
you got to have a coach.
Absolutely. So anyway, we have a little special for everybody, Austin. If you are with us today and you want to get started with doing your menu, you can go to inspirationmanagement.com. We're giving $100 off the menu development program. So you can go and get your copy so you can start doing an effective menu and crush your competition and soar. That's what we want to do. So start implementing. That's what we want to do. So we have some questions. All right. So we have a couple questions, Austin.
We have quite a
I
few.
charge for that.
We have quite a few. All right. So we're gonna take a couple minutes here. We have 5 minutes left, I think. So we're gonna take a few questions.
Okay, so Dori, this is gonna be for you. How many pages should the menu be?
Okay. And that's something that we definitely go into in this program. So there's all kinds of different types of menus you can do. You can do a booklet. You can do a booklet like this, for example, or you can do a bifold like this, where you're doing a gatefold. It could be just 8 panels. It could be a trifold. Really, what decides that is your budget, how much you want to spend on printing the menu, because that's a biggie. People forget about it. They create this booklet, and then it's gonna cost them $5 to print it, and then they're like this, Austin. Are you gonna keep it or are you gonna throw it away? So if you have a small printing budget, then cut down your content, make it short and sweet. Do just a bifold or a trifold or a quadruple fold. The people with deeper pockets can do a booklet. That's more expensive, and it depends on the type of papers that you do, the print, the color, all that makes a big difference.
Wonderful. And actually, I'm very glad you said that, because one of the other questions that had come in is how important is it to give away the menus? Can I not just have one that they can look at while they're in the clinic?
So, well, there's different ways to use the menu. You're going to use it in your medical spa, in every treatment room where your team can open it up and be able to upgrade treatments, recommend other treatments. So you're going to use it that way in your business. You're going to use it when you go to events. Let's say you go to a wedding conference. Let's say you go to a home show conference, whatever type of conferences you're going to go and feature your business. You definitely want to pass that out. Like, I could never imagine, I'm going to the Global Aesthetics next month, for example, to speak down in Miami. We would never go there without a brochure. Of course, we're going to be passing out our brochures. So it's a marketing tool. It's a marketing and sales tool. So you want to pass out as many as possible, for sure.
And then I have one for Austin. So she says, I am just a smaller business just getting started. What would be a good recommendation for a piece of equipment that's going to be within a smaller business budget?
Great question. You definitely want to be looking multimodality. So you're going to want a platform that can offer facial treatments and body treatments, or an array of facial treatments. There are several devices in the marketplace that can offer radio frequency skin tightening alongside IPL, intense pulse light, for photofacial skin rejuve, and even encompass things like diode hair removal, etc. So multimodality is definitely the way that you want to go. You don't need a Ferrari. You don't need to buy a Cytong. It's going to cost $300 grand.
Yeah.
You can definitely look into various other products, Cineron, Alma, Palomar, the list goes on. There's many technologies out there. It's a preference-based market. What you'll find is a lot of the technical specifications of these devices offer the same fluence, pulse width, joule nanometer output, RF energy, etc. So getting used to their ergonomics, their software screens, etc. That's where it becomes preference. So really, you can't go wrong as long as you're vetting one of the more preferred manufacturers in the space. And you can certainly get into a multimodality platform for fairly inexpensively, nowhere near a six-figure price tag. And we'd be happy to consult you further on that if you want to visit the site.
And I like Alma Laser because they have no consumables, and that's a really good way for somebody on a small budget to do. But you know what would be also my advice is you've got to have an analysis machine. You've got to have an imaging system. You have to have that consultation process, because that's where you're going to make all your money. So if I was to buy my first piece of equipment, I would want analysis equipment. So I can really do that, and then buy one, like Austin said, buy in addition one multiple modality, some type of laser or equipment.
And I think the imaging is important because, buying into a wholesale back bar skincare line that's white labeled to your specific brand, or selling retail product, etc. The margins aren't always amazing. Sometimes they're great, one, those transfers to your website for e-com, but two, that's revenue by which supports your continued growth and your ability to obtain financing, or the ability for you to create the cash flow to pay for the finance or outright for one of these devices. So there's a dime and a dozen out there as far as multimodality platforms. Depends on what you want to offer, how you want to offer it. You can certainly get into something highly efficacious that's already depreciated and going to hold its value for less than a six-figure, sub-six-figure price point for sure.
Nice.
Dori, before we end here on social media, because we're getting to the hour, a couple of people commented and said, what steps did Dr. Green take with you and your team to get where he is now?
Oh, well, they became a member, actually. They became part of our membership program, which is the Flying High. And he came actually to a couple of events with his team. And Lauren, his manager, came to our mastermind meeting. And they literally work with one of our coaches, Megan, and Tara, actually, both, and myself. And we helped them structure actually their entire business, and they just hit the ground running because they implemented those. That's the key. So you can go to conferences, you can study, you can learn, but unless you implement, you're not going to get anywhere. And that's what they do so well. I love working with people like that. My team loves working with people like that. And if you're not a member, as a matter of fact, I know we had a lot of members with us today, so I want to say special welcome and thank you for being with us. We have so many members that are just growing like crazy. If you have not seen what they do, go to the website, and every month we do a member spotlight for all these guys that are just crushing it. They are growing like crazy. And if you're not a member already, you can always call us up and we can do a success planning session and show you how you can reach success the fastest way possible. And you can do that right from our homepage. So I would definitely recommend doing that. At least you'll get an overview of what you can do to really succeed the fastest way possible. And then you should do that with us, and then you should really contact Austin so he can set you up with also a great idea of what type of equipment would be ideal for you and what would be the investment required, so that way you've done your homework and you're going into this with open eyes rather than making costly mistakes.
Absolutely, be happy to.
And then can you clarify one more thing? Some people are confused on the new menu development. Is that for the membership as well, or should they be doing something else to create their membership brochure?
No, so you should really have two marketing pieces. The reason you want to have a separate marketing brochure for your membership is because your team, you don't want to waste the whole menu. If your team is explaining the membership to a client, they just want to grab just the membership piece because there's no point in wasting all that. So then it's just a small little bifold that we create for you, and then you just explain the membership on it and you're selling them that way. So you have two marketing pieces. One is your menu, full-blown menu with a mention of the membership, and then another membership brochure that's just a small little cute little brochure that you can show people what your membership program is all about.
And they're asking, excuse me, can you show the two tools, one to create the membership and one to create the
Yes.
the
So
menu?
the copy system is what you would need. And by the way, if you're members, you don't have to pay for any of these. They're all on your MedSpa Biz University. So we have the copy system to create your membership, and it's an amazing, amazing program. I'm telling you, people are killing it with memberships right now. So if you don't have one, you're missing out. And then the other one is developing the menu, developing the unique and enticing menu for your target market. So those are the two things that you can find on the shop. So, any last words, Austin?
It's laser season.
It is laser season. Absolutely.
Right.
It is laser season. I have your contact information here, Austin. So if anybody want to reach out, again, it's synergymedsales.com and inspirationmanagement.com. So we are here to help you out. We hope that you enjoyed our time together tonight. Where's our drink? Is it happy hour? Where's your scotch?
Bring that out. I don't have any scotch. I told you I was drinking water.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Water.
That's not what I saw earlier. All right, you guys. Anything else? team, I want to say thank you to my team here. We are broadcasting from our studio in Daytona Beach. It's absolutely gorgeous. My team worked so hard to put this on. I have James, Sarah, Tara, and Tim. Hey, you guys.
And Austin and his team.
And of course, Austin and his team for putting this together. And tell us.
Abigail.
And we're getting thank yous and hearts and thumbs up from everybody on social media. They're thanking you guys so much.
Thank you, you guys. We love you. We wish you the best. Let's make the last quarter your best quarter ever.
Don't sleep on it. The time to go is now.
That's
Think
right.
about that menu. Think about
That's
that
right.
laser. Think about the one you need to get rid of.
Yeah.
It's time. Call Dori.
And call Austin. All right, guys. God bless. And until next time, stay inspired. Bye, Austin. Bye,
Thank you,
team.
Dori.